Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Kondrot, and welcome to this session on Substack. First of all, I appreciate all of you who are members of Substack. Your subscription is helping me uh, uh, get, get all this information out to you. And also, your subscription is helping us on my mission work. My wife and I are ready to leave for Angola, Africa. We have a very important mission. We'll be in Angola for 1 week, helping the blind. There are many people suffering from advanced cataracts and glaucoma, and it's a real honor for me to join the Methodist Church in a small town called Kwesa, which is west of Luanda, the capital. It's about a 12-hour drive west of Luanda where we'll fly into. And so I request that all of you send me your prayers for a successful mission. So I want to welcome everyone. You all have been muted. And so what you need to do to get my attention is to either raise your hand or you can ask a question in the chat. So let's begin. Okay, we have Lynn Wood. I think you could unmute yourself, Lynn.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
Hi.
If you could put your camera on. Oh, there you are. Hi.
Yeah. For
And
some
where are
reason,
you,
it's cutting off our heads. I'm not sure why.
where are you located and where are you calling?
I'm Fredericksburg, Virginia. I took your eye drops for cataracts for years. I ended up having one eye done. That was 4 or 5 years ago. My question today is about PVD, posterior venous detachment, right? It's in this eye. I have dry eye, and the PVD is like covering up, it's a greasy looking blob. What can I have a doctor, but until the retina detaches, she doesn't talk about anything she could do.
Well, hopefully the retina is not going to detach. Now you're talking about a PVD, which is a posterior vitreous detachment. Inside the eye is a jelly fluid called the vitreous. And as we get older, well, I shouldn't use the word older, as we mature, okay, that jelly starts to shrink and it pulls away from the back of the eye. Now, that is eventually going to happen to everyone. If you take your age, that's a percent chance you're going to get a PVD. So if you're 50, there's a 50% chance. If you're 100, there's a 100% chance you're going to get a PVD. Normally, a PVD does not cause any major problems with the eye. Occasionally, it can cause a detached retina. So the PVDs are very common, but a retinal detachment is very uncommon. So in order to answer your question, what can be done? Typically, this is a common occurrence, and usually with time, the vitreous will settle and those spots that you see will disappear. I believe that, all the things that I talk about are important to reduce the symptoms, and that is basic good nutrition and proper hydration and reducing stress. And if you do have contaminants in your body, like heavy metals, it may be a good idea to get rid of those heavy metals. So it's a common problem. Hopefully it'll take care of itself with time.
It's really hard to see. I mean, I thought my cataract was worse over there, and I could just go get cataract surgery and it would be gone. But this has gone on for at least 6 or 7 months. I just turned 76. Is there anything to make the blob go away? I am using
Well, there
is
a laser procedure that can break up the blob. You might want to talk to your ophthalmologist about that, but I'm really not 100% enthusiastic about the laser procedure.
Okay.
But that's a consideration. Another operation would be the eye surgeon would go in and remove all of the jelly. I'm not a big advocate of that. My first advice to you would be, number one, really look at your diet. What
I've
foods are
got a
you
good
putting into
diet.
your body?
Yeah.
Number two, make sure you're properly hydrated. That's
Yeah.
important, and reducing stress. Now, we do
Uh,
have other therapies that are part of my program, and that includes light therapy and microcurrent. Some of those modalities might help this problem. But overall, I think that you need to take the proper steps, reducing stress, uh, proper food. And I could give a whole talk on proper food, but the basic that I tell my patients is that it has a label on it, don't eat it.
yeah, I'm a health nut, so I
Yeah.
have a really good diet.
Mm, mm.
I do have dry eye and have for quite a few years. Does that affect PVD?
No, there's no relationship. But, there's a lot of other people that have a question, and I don't want you to monopolize all the time. So let
Oh,
me move
okay,
on here.
I
Um,
understand.
Susan, how are you? Susan
Oh,
Drinkwort.
I am fine. My husband and I live in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico.
Oh, the beautiful state of New Mexico. New Mexico or
Mexi
Mexico?
Mexico,
Oh, Mexico. Okay.
yes. My question is that I've had several concussions, but in my left eye, I have pseudo exfoliation glaucoma, plus developing cataracts in both eyes. And I've been on Vysulta for maybe 4 years. This last checkup with the ophthalmologist in Arizona told me that I needed to be on Combigan, another steroid drops, because my left eye is still at 26 pressure. And then he says, I think that what we need to do is do cataract surgery, even though it's not ripened, and then another laser surgery for the glaucoma. And my question is that I'm really reluctant to have it done. I was wondering if I'm on a low sugar diet, a low carb diet, no seed oils, know the labels, and try to be organic and all that stuff. I'm just started taking the NAC drops, but I'm interested in what you have to offer regarding being able to delay the surgery and help reduce eye pressure plus cataract.
Well, number one, you're at a much higher risk. When you have pseudo exfoliation glaucoma, you're at a much higher risk for complications with cataract surgery. So my first advice would be to delay the cataract surgery as long as possible. Now, I do like a drop called Oclumed, Oclumed. It's probably one of the few eye drops that I have seen to actually help reverse cataracts. And you can contact the office for more information on that. It's called Oclumed. When you do develop a cataract in the eye, certain physiological things take place. Your ascorbic acid decreases, vitamin C and glutathione. So it makes sense, if you do have a cataract, to make sure you're getting adequate vitamin C. Humans and guinea pigs are the only two mammals that can produce vitamin C. So number one, I would encourage you to maybe take 3 grams of vitamin C a day. I like a product called EnerC, ENER-C. It's a powdered vitamin C made from non-GMO products, and it's well tolerated. In addition, taking the Oclumed drops, in addition, I would certainly get tested for heavy metals. Studies have shown that elevated lead contributes to the cataract.
Okay.
So those are things you can do. Now, in terms of the glaucoma, I really can't comment on your glaucoma and your pressure. Glaucoma is a very complex disease, and it's not always about pressure. It's the health of the optic nerve. And I would be happy to take a look at your eye records. There's no charge for this. And those of you that are on this call, you can go to freeconsult.us. Free consult, no space, .us. schedule a time with my office manager, send your records in, I'll take a look at your records and make some recommendations. I have found that many people who are being treated for glaucoma really don't have glaucoma. They have high pressure. So it's a complicated disease, but right now I'm not advising you to stop your eye drops. I think that, glaucoma is one of those diseases that can lead to total blindness. I'm talking about midnight in a coal mine, so we take glaucoma seriously. So I would definitely make sure that you follow your doctor's instructions. Although I would want to have you delay the surgery as long as possible. Maybe try some alternative treatments to help.
Okay. One more question. Microcurrent, am I able to purchase not microcurrent and use it in Mexico at home?
Yeah, we have many patients in Mexico, and microcurrent is another modality to help detoxify the eye and help the eye regenerate. I have published a study on patients that I have treated with cataracts using the microcurrent. And that study is available if you want to go to my website, healingtheeye.com, all one word, and there's a section there on studies that I have published.
Okay. Well, I've got all those records. I'll send them to you, and thank you for your time.
Oh, and thank you for being a member of the Substack.
Okay, thank you.
Ed, Dr. Kondrot, I can't raise my hand on the things below. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Denise.
Hi. Thank you for this.
And you're from South Africa, right?
Yeah, but I'm in the UK right now. So yeah. And I have this, long history of shingles in my cornea, my right
Oh,
eye.
for the people on Substack, Denise is a brilliant optometrist who's doing a lot of innovative work.
Oh, thank you. And you and you're a brilliant ophthalmologist. So I'm here asking your advice on the homeopathic remedy that would support, because my cornea is calcifying. I have calcified spots that they can't remove because my cornea is just too vulnerable now after repeated shingles attacks and viral, and of course with COVID. And I've just also been really sick with a new COVID virus that's going around here now. So I've had some desquamation of my corneal surface, and I was told to take perhaps calc carb, but I just wondered if there was anything else that you could suggest that would
Well,
be.
I don't know if you got my email message.
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, we have a study group. There's 3 or 4 eye doctors who are studying homeopathy, and we
Okay.
invited you to join that group.
Oh, no,
Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, and we'll take your case and give you advice. Okay.
okay, wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you
Now,
very
in the
much.
meantime, just so the listeners, the people who are on this group, my passion is homeopathy. I think homeopathy can work miracles. And anytime I hear about a complex problem, I always look at homeopathy. Homeopathy can act as a catalyst to help the body heal itself. That's why I love it.
Yeah.
And so I really can't give you any advice on a homeopathic remedy because we treat the person. We don't treat the disease, we treat the person with the disease. So if I see 100 people with macular degeneration, each one may need a different homeopathic remedy. Now, what I would advise for you right now is ozone eye drops. Ozone eye drops can work miracles for corneal problems.
Okay.
And I would definitely start taking the ozone eye drops. I have a YouTube video on how to make your own. You can't buy ozone eye drops. You have to make them.
Okay.
It's very easy. You buy like a little ozone generator. It's like an aquarium bubbler. The stone.
Yeah.
And you put it in saline. You bubble the ozone in saline and put those drops in. Ozone is a highly reactive form of oxygen. Oxygen is necessary for all healing in the body. It also helps regeneration. It also reduces inflammation. It has so many wonderful positive effects that would be my number one treatment. And then we'll see you at our meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That would be in 2 weeks.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and have a good trip. Okay.
Thank you.
Take
All right,
care.
we got Kanta. Kanta, hi. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself, Kanta. Did you unmute yourself? I lost you here. Okay, well, we lost Kanta, so how about Janet? Akabomi? Janet?
Yeah.
Hi, can you show us your picture and tell us where you're from?
Can you believe this?
I don't have a video right now, but I am from Los Angeles.
When you want to talk.
And I have,
Keep talking.
Oh, Kanta, we'll come back to you. You weren't available. We have Janet now.
can you hear my voice?
Yep, Janet, you're on.
Okay, so I would be really happy to hear what is your point of view on this particular aspect of cataract surgery. Now, a lot of people in the natural vision therapy school of thought say that it might be a good idea just to remove the lens and not put anything in there so that the eye has the freedom to adjust itself. And I'm curious, you as a cataract surgeon, what do you think of that idea?
Well, number one, years ago when I first started in practice, we did not have intraocular lenses. And after you had the cataract surgery, you had to wear the really thick glasses. And
Yeah.
sometimes those thick glasses caused more problems than the cataract. So I'm a big proponent that you probably should have a intraocular lens put in. It's the state of the art and it'll give you the best possible vision. But on the other hand, I want you to delay surgery as long as possible. The artificial lens does not replace the lens that God gave us. The lens that God gave us is a lens that has really good function. It helps us change our focal point, and that's what we want to keep. So I would advise you to, look at some alternative therapies, and I already mentioned those. Taking the Oclumet eye drops, taking some additional vitamin C.
Yeah, I use the Oclumet.
Maybe getting checked for your elevated lead if you have any.
Yeah, I've chelated extensively. Anyway, thank you for your point of view. That's interesting that the extra strong eyeglasses were problematic. Yeah.
Now, people always say to me, "Well, Dr. Kondrot, you're against cataract surgery. Well, what are you doing going to Africa?" Well, when I go there, people are blind from cataract. I mean, they can't even see shadows. The cataracts are so advanced. And they're poor. You can't really talk to them about diet and nutrition. They're happy to get 1 meal a day. So it's an entirely different situation. The other thing in Africa, when you have a blind person, usually they're led with a child. And that child doesn't have a chance to go to school. When you help that elderly person improve their vision, you free up a child to go to school. So you're really doing a lot of benefit for the society.
Yeah, it's all relative. Thank you for your answers.
Oh, well, thank you. Now we got Janice Smith. Janet,
Hi there.
and where are you from? Oh, you have to unmute, Janice.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm from Chevy Chase, Maryland, about 10 minutes from the District of Columbia, right in the right in the heart of whatever. We had a great I don't know, you probably don't remember, you with so many patients, but I had an appointment last November. We talked about Dietrich Klinghardt, and I had seen down in Texas. Anyhow, I had seen Tennant down in Texas. Couple of questions. Cataracts, I've got between 1 and 2 stage. They aren't too bad, just driving at night. But I did your homeopathic thing. I don't know, not really sure it worked, but the Aclamed, you know, one of the eyelids started getting a little puffy, so I don't know what was, I think I stopped using that. Have you ever had that issue? I don't know what I was
No,
allergic
I
to.
haven't seen that, but there's always a chance you could develop an allergy to the Oclimed.
Okay, so
And that
well,
would be rare, but there's a
but it
possibility.
was strange. It was just when I'm now using these Eye Bright drops. It has the Eye Bright MSM, a saline solution, some grapefruit seed extract, apple cider vinegar, called Eye Bright drops. I don't know if you ever heard of them. I'm hoping they might work.
No, I have, but in my experience, I haven't really seen them reverse cataracts. I like the Oclimed. And as I mentioned, taking additional vitamin C and being evaluated for heavy metals,
Right.
if
You
you have the
know,
heavy metals. And
yeah, the heavy metals, I was gonna do the calcium EDT. I go to a holistic MD, and I know when I was down in well, I visited Tenet 6 years ago, we had the oligo scan.
yeah,
That's,
I'm
yeah,
familiar with that.
it's incredible. It's Klinghardt, because Klinghardt says, you know, with some of the tests, blood or urine, it's very hard because you don't know if a person is able to excrete them. This oligo did find some, mostly aluminum, but he said everybody has aluminum because of the chemtrails. But I did have some lead, and he prescribes the calcium EDTA 75 milligrams per body kilo. Do you do similar kind of prescription
Well,
dosing?
right now, I mainly give patients advice, and I think if you are getting some type of detoxification, you need to do it under the supervision of a medical
Oh,
doctor.
okay, so you
And
don't,
there's different methods of doing chelation.
yeah,
I know many of my patients will use rectal suppositories and oral, simply because a lot of them can't afford the IV. Some IVs are very expensive. They're
right,
$100 to $200,
right,
and you just don't need one. You need maybe 20, 30, 40, or 50,
right,
and that can be quite expensive.
right,
But number one is I think you need to find out your level. You know, if your lead or mercury or aluminum is off the chart, then you have to be a little bit more aggressive. I think everyone has heavy metals. We just live in a society.
right.
I just assume you have heavy metals, and
Mhm.
the best way to treat that is number one, with prevention, being very careful what you put into your body.
Right.
And then number two is maybe to begin some type of ongoing chelation treatment. I've been doing chelation now for probably 20 years.
Mhm.
I do rectal suppositories every week, and I take an oral agent. I try to get an IV every now and then.
Yeah, I wouldn't do the IV, but have you found, I know Key Science, you're familiar with Key Science products?
No,
Okay, Klinghardt helps him develop them. He doesn't get any kickbacks, though. There's a suppository and the powder. And you're saying that, I'm sorry, the capsules. You're saying that the people who often do suppositories and the capsules together?
yeah, that's what I would recommend. That's what I do.
Oh,
Now, there's many
really?
ways, and I don't want to get into a discussion because we have a lot of other questions here.
No, right.
I think that there's many ways to chelate. The important thing is to identify if you have heavy metals and do something about it.
Mhm,
Also, no matter what method you do, you need a follow-up test. So in 6 months, double
mhm.
check.
Right, yeah.
All right.
Okay, yeah, and this ozonated, I missed, I came in late, the ozonated web blog you have, what's the date of their making ozonated drops?
You have to make your own, and you could contact the office. There's a couple of websites where you can buy your own ozone generator. One is Simply O3,
Okay,
Simply O3, and the other one is, I think it's A to Z Ozone.
oh,
But
Joan has one of those.
yeah. Okay, we
okay,
have some other questions here.
okay, thanks so
Um,
much.
this is an interesting question in the chat. I prefer that you raise your hand because a lot of times I'll miss the chat questions. I usually like to talk to people instead of answering a question. But this person, her sister had cataract surgery. Now she has double vision. Any advice? I really can't give advice because I'd have to look at the records and see the cause of the double vision. There's probably about 100 different causes for double vision. So as I mentioned, freeconsult.us, send me a copy of the records and I'll take a look at it. Another good question from Marilyn about blood thinners and wet macular degeneration. Well, there's no question that blood thinners can contribute to wet macular degeneration. Studies have shown that you're taking aspirin tablets every day, you're going to it's going to be at a higher risk for bleeding. Now, you have to weigh the risk benefit of taking a blood thinner. Obviously, if you had a stroke or you have heart disease, it's absolutely essential that you do take some type of blood thinner. It's a controversial topic, and some alternative doctors feel that you can treat, you can use artificial methods to thin your blood, such as nattokinase, vitamin E, etc. But I think that's a question that you should consult with your medical doctor.
Yes,
Okay, we
well,
have another Allison Davis. How are you?
yes,
Oh, I have
And
26.
where are you from?
I'm in,
Question.
I'm in New
Oh,
Hampshire.
you can ask a question.
What would you like to
Okay,
ask?
Allison is speaking, so I would appreciate it if other people
Pardon?
would maybe
What
mute
would
your
you like me to
microphone
ask?
so we can hear Allison. Susan, could you mute your microphone? Thank you. Okay, Allison.
Thank you. I have one question to follow up on the thing about blood thinning and aspirin. I'm also taking ginkgo, and I know that that has a tendency to thin blood too. Would you also caution against that? I have early macular degeneration, the dry kind.
There's less of a risk with ginkgo, but I would still be cautious.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, doctor.
The time
Hello.
release niacinamide.
Okay, we have Ellen. Ellen,
Yes, just following up on the
What you didn't like.
Aquamed, do you?
oh wait, I'm going to mute everybody here.
Oh,
There's a lot of people talking in the background. Please mute your microphone because it's annoying to the person asking the question, and it's annoying to everyone else if your microphone's on and you're chatting in the background. I had one person that was doing the dishes while she was on the call and making all kind of noise, and another guy was cutting the grass and he was listening. So be respectful for everybody at the meeting, okay? Okay, Ellen's on, and she's the only one that's going to be unmuted.
yes, thank you. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I have following up on the Aquamed, I've seen something called Can C, which seems to have similar ingredients. Do you have any thoughts on that versus Aquamed?
I haven't had positive experience with Can C.
Okay.
I like the Aquamed product, and listen, I've tried everything. The Aquamed seems to be the only thing that I have used and actually seen a reversal of the cataract. Now, those other products may help prevent the progression. And I think also, this is an important point, you can't expect an eye drop to reverse the cataract. You got to look at the underlying cause. Now, the underlying cause may be a vitamin C deficiency. It may be heavy metals. It may be putting poisons into your body. And the big poisons are sugar, refined wheat, and a lot of the other toxins and preservatives in our food. I advise all my patients, if it has a label on it, don't eat it. So when you go to the store, if something has a label on it, don't buy it and don't eat it.
Yes, and then could you say the kind of vitamin C that you liked again?
Well, the one that I like is called ENER-C, ENER-C. It's made from non-genetically modified food, and it's a powder, and it's easy for the body to absorb. I like it.
Okay. And then lastly, because we're on screens so much, are there certain monitors that are, like I have the flux on my monitor to, take down the glare, but are there certain computer monitors that are better for us to look at than others?
Well, my rule of thumb is you need to avoid blue light at night. Blue light is healthy during the day, but you have to avoid blue light at night. God made the ocean blue, the sky blue. We need blue light during the day. At night, you got to reduce your exposure to blue light. And unfortunately, computers have a lot of blue light. So there is something called a blue filter or a night filter. In fact, my iPhone has a night shift. During the day, the iPhone has a blue screen, and at night it shifts more towards red. So you can buy a filter for your computer. But my best advice is reduce your computer time at night. In order to have a healthy vision and a healthy body, your eyes need to rest at night. When the sun sets, you should reduce your computer time.
Wow.
And people that are spending all hours of the morning texting and on their iPhone, those are the ones that are going to develop eye problems. And I'm frightened because we have a whole generation of children that are growing up. They're living with their iPhone. They're not going outside. There was a study done that showed that outdoor activity, exposure to sunlight, reduces myopia. And nowadays we have a whole generation of kids. They don't go outside and play. They come home and they're on their computer and iPhone, and they're not using their peripheral vision. It's going to produce a whole generation of people with serious eye problems.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Susan Drinkard. How are you, Susan? Susan, do you hear me? You can unmute.
Yeah, okay, I think I got it unmuted now.
And do you have a picture that we can see you?
I don't know.
Let's see.
There's a little icon down below.
Oh, there he goes.
Yes.
Okay, hi.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Anyway, my question, I'm a Dr. Joseph Mercola follower, and he's helped me tremendously with some of my health issues. But he recently came out with an article. I wanted to get your comments on it. And he basically said in this article, patients with established glaucoma scored significantly higher on visual tests after taking niacinamide and calcium pyruvate, I believe that's how you pronounce it, daily for about 2 months. But the article does go on to say more is not better, and there is a Goldilocks dose. So I just wondered if you've had time to look at any of that research for that
No, I
particular
haven't.
stuff.
I don't have any experience in that. But I'll tell you one thing, the bottom line is any good nutrition is going to help your vision. You don't have to take a fancy product. I tell my patients simply colorful food will give you colorful vision. If you avoid, I think it's more important to avoid the toxins in your body than look for some magic ingredient. A magic ingredient does not exist. And what really upsets me, and I have to control my temper, the vitamin industry is starting to become like big pharma. They have a magical vitamin or a magical ingredient that's going to reverse aging and improve your vision. It doesn't exist. You got to do it the old-fashioned way. And a lot of these studies are manipulated. And what really upsets me is the vitamin industry is becoming a lot like big pharma. In fact, one study was done that people that take vitamins have a lower life expectancy. Now, what do you make of that?
That sounds like it's coming from pharmaceutical.
Not really. This was written by an alternative doctor. And the reason is we don't know what we're taking with those vitamins. They're contaminated. I used to have a vitamin manufacturer, and then I was notified that they could not sell the product in California because they had low traces of lead in the vitamins. And they would be banned in California. So that's when I really realized that we got to do things the old-fashioned way. You can't depend on taking a vitamin or a nutrient for your health. You got to look at the food you're putting into your body. And we really have to look at that. I think, Thomas Edison said the doctor of the future would not prescribe any medication, but instead advise the patient on diet and nutrition. And that's the last thing people want to hear about. They want a quick solution.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's see here. There's another question here. Let me go over this. My wife is a 69-year-old myope, developed cataracts, normal pressure glaucoma on latanoprost. Normal pressure glaucoma is the question. Okay, well, glaucoma is a very complex disease. And I tell all my patients, glaucoma is more than pressure. You can have a pressure of 25, which is considered high in some circles, and never lose your vision with glaucoma. Or you can have a pressure of 10 and go blind from glaucoma. It's the health of the optic nerve. And so what most eye doctors don't do is they don't look at the optic nerve. They don't advise you on things you can do to improve the health of the optic nerve. And, it goes back to basics, good nutrition, get rid of toxins, exercise, meditation. There's been countless studies that weekly exercise, daily exercise will lower the pressure, improve the health of the optic nerve. Meditation will help, stress reduction. So, glaucoma is more than just pressure, and eye doctors are beginning to discover this with low tension glaucoma. So the question is, therapies like syntonic light therapy and homeopathy, can they help? Certainly they can help, because syntonic light therapy balances the autonomic nervous system and helps the body to regenerate. And homeopathy is wonderful. I can't speak more highly than homeopathy. Homeopathy cured me of my asthma. I almost died twice from asthma. I was taking 3 medications, went to the top pulmonary doctors in the country, and they all told me the same thing. There's no cure. One homeopathic remedy cured me of my asthma, and that changed my life. And that's how I became dedicated to alternative therapy. So all of you out there, if you have health issues, you should look at homeopathy. And I could talk for an hour on homeopathy, but I have some YouTubes and Substack posts on homeopathy, but definitely investigate that, because homeopathy is the only medical approach that we actually look at curing disease. So if you have high blood pressure and you go to your internist, he doesn't talk about curing it. Hey, take this pill. That pill's not going to cure your high blood pressure. It's going to maintain the disease. Then you take a second or third. You go to a homeopathic doctor, he's going to look at curing your problem. That's why I like homeopathy. All right, we have a question here from Janice. Janice, how are you?
Oh, me again. I thought there was Janet ahead of me, but I don't know. Very quickly, with the homeopathy, have you found that it actually reverses cataract or just prevents it from getting worse?
That's a good question. In 1885, there was a study done, 295 patients with cataracts. And in that study, the majority of them had an improvement of vision with homeopathy. And that was published in a ophthalmology journal.
I think you mentioned that, and I actually, and there was a homeopathic remedy that had 3 of the ingredients, but that seems contradictory to homeopathy because everybody's individual. How can
Right, you're right, but in that study, those were the 3 top remedies. That doesn't mean it's a remedy for you.
Okay, so
if I treat 100 people with cataracts, now, probably the most common remedy that I see with females that have cataracts is sepia. That doesn't mean sepia is going to help you, and I'm not recommending you take it.
Yeah.
Because if it's not your remedy, it's not going to do any good, and you're going to say, well, homeopathy doesn't work.
Right.
Just like people ask me, what did you take to cure your asthma? Well, it doesn't matter what I took because it's not going to help your asthma.
Right. Well, that's why
homeopathy treats the person. You're different, you're unique, and you're going to need a unique remedy.
Yeah, and that's what sepia was one of those 3. That's why I always seemed contradictory because maybe it helped those people. They didn't say which of the three helped each person.
Right. Mhm.
That was really, yeah, interesting. I think Mary's trying to raise her hand, but doesn't know how to do it. Can you see her? And she's been raising her hand. Thank you very much.
Let's see, Mary, where are you? Oh, Mary. Okay, let's take care of Mary, okay? Poor Mary. Mary.
Well, I'm really excited about your African trip. I would love to hear more about it, and so very excited for you guys. I just have a very simple question, and it's I just wonder, because I've dealt with this for quite a while, but what can you do to I don't know, help red eyelids, the margins, all that? I've cut back on makeup, but it's still there. So I don't think that that's it.
Well, that's a condition, it sounds like it's blepharitis, which is inflammation of the eyelashes, red lids. And it's also associated sometimes with acne rosacea. And I don't know if I'm seeing you clearly, but looks like your cheeks are red.
Okay.
You may have a little bit of rosacea,
Mm,
which is a systemic problem.
okay.
But one thing that I do like, and I tell all my patients, 3 words. Write down these words.
I'm
Good
ready.
lid hygiene.
Okay.
And what I want you to do is hot compresses at night, get some dilute baby shampoo, and scrub your eyelashes with the baby shampoo, then rinse. Because usually it's due to a chronic infection of your eyelashes.
Mm,
And next is I would highly recommend the ozone eye drops, because the ozone eye drops
okay.
are a very natural way of fighting the infection. You also may want to consult with an eye doctor, because sometimes you can have a parasitic infection of the eyelashes, mites,
Mm.
and different organisms can be growing.
So
So
how
you
do
may
they
want,
find out if it's a parasite?
well, they look at you under a microscope and actually
Oh,
see the critters.
oh, okay.
I mean, it's scary for me. I've examined patients and I've taken a look under a microscope, and it's like watching the alien. These little guys are on the eyelashes.
Thank you.
Okay, well, good luck. Remember the 3 words: good lid hygiene. Also,
Okay.
avoid inflammatory foods. The seed
Okay.
oils are the big culprits,
Mm,
and they're in everything. You go to a health food store and you get salad dressing, and it has canola oil. You got to avoid the seed oils. Corn oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil, all the seed oils. You should
does
stick
that
with
include,
olive oil and avocado oil. And actually, it may be shocking to hear this, but probably the best thing to cook with is either butter or lard.
mm, okay. Now what about sunflower oil? It just
It's a
saying
seed oil.
sunflower oil. Okay.
There are seed oils. Okay, well, good luck, Janet. Okay, there's a question here on lanosterol. There was a study done that showed that lanosterol can reverse cataracts, but the study was done in vitro, not in vivo. In vitro, I mean, they took the lenses from mice or rats and they put them in a petri dish and they soaked them in lanosterol, and it dissolved the cataracts. The lanosterol will not work on a human eye because we can't get it to the cataract. So it's exciting laboratory studies, but lanosterol will not work in terms of an eye drop.
Hmm.
All right, let's see here. Robert, do you have a question? You're shaking your hands. I'm looking here if I have anybody else I'm missing here. Let's see. Janet, is your hand up again?
It is. I have a question on your thoughts on a keto diet.
I think the keto diet can be very beneficial for people, especially if you want to lose weight. I think a more important diet would be the paleo diet, a diet that our ancestors kept.
Thanks.
And, there's some shocking statistic that a lot of eye problems, including macular degeneration, did not exist before 1920. And it's not because eye doctors didn't have the equipment. They had the equipment in 1885 to carefully examine the inside of the eye. And it has to do with the changes in our diet, the introduction of seed oils, in particular margarine and Crisco. If you look at the cardiology textbooks before 1920, heart attacks were uncommon. Uncommon, they were rare. And now it's the most common cause of cardiac mortality and morbidity, coronary artery disease. That's to do with our diet. And I know talking about diet isn't glamorous. People want to hear about a new vitamin or a new product that's going to help regain their youth and vitality. But I really am a firm believer that food should be your best medicine. All right. Let's see here. I'm searching here. Listen, if your questions are not answered, please email Substack. And then what I'll do is I'll answer your question in a Substack post. How does that sound? Okay, Janice Smith, your hand is up.
Okay, so
You're back again.
I'm back again. But Janet put a very interesting thing in the chat about a VCS test that can determine if you have mold toxins. She's saying how certain biotoxins such as mold create a neurotoxin affecting the brain and retinal artery blood flow. This interferes with the ability to discriminate between white and gray contrast as seen on a test. Have you ever heard of this VCS test?
Well, I am vaguely familiar with that test, but my belief is that if your organism is healthy, you're not going to be exposed. Molds are not going to affect you. The common complaint I hear, people come to me, if I could get rid of the candida, if I could get rid of the molds, I'm going to be healthier. The reason why you have the molds and the candida and parasites is because your body's not healthy. Mm-hmm. We have to improve the overall health. So what these tests are kind of a roundabout way for the testing manufacturers to make money. Because if you do test positive for mold, then they put you on a whole program to reduce the mold, but they do nothing to increase your vitality or strength. So if your organism is healthy, you're not going to be subject to molds. You're not going to be subject to parasites. Your body's going to be able to better handle an infection. So my belief is, and that's why I like the homeopathic approach, we try to strengthen your body so you're stronger.
Yeah,
a lot of these tests are just much like the medical profession do. They test everybody for cholesterol, and everybody has high cholesterol, and everybody should take statins. It's not the way to stay healthy. They measure your blood pressure. Everybody has high blood pressure. And people end up taking 5 or 6 medications. They're getting sicker and sicker, and nobody's looking at the basics, how to improve the health of the body.
Yeah, quickly. I totally agree. One of the problems is, though, the soil doesn't have a lot of things in it anymore. I understand no selenium in it. I mean, it's horrible.
Right, you're right. The soil is becoming depleted, and it's a problem that's getting worse and worse.
Right.
That's why you really got to look at organic. Or the best way is
I always do organic. The problem is, Kanta figured out how to raise her hand. Wonderful.
Yeah, let me take Kanta. She's been.
I was just going to say, though, that unfortunately the organic association has been infiltrated, by some of the big guys, and it's hard to get.
Right, they don't want to
They
see her
don't
get
want that. I was so annoyed, but anyhow, we're trying, but you're absolutely right.
it. Okay, let's, Kanta. Kanta, unmute, please. Kanta, are you there?
Yep, I unmuted, but it got muted again. Anyway, I few questions.
Can you put your camera on? We'd like to see you.
Sure,
and-
I thought it was. I guess it automatically goes off or something. Anyway,
And where are you from?
Tennessee, Middle Tennessee.
Well, I hope you're safe. With the hurricane affect you?
No, we're living
First
middle.
go out
So
to you.
yeah, we were very blessed, and we live in a little valley. We're always protected. We have been anyway. So I was choosing to know if classical homeopathy can cure glaucoma. Can it reverse it?
Well, it depends on how you define glaucoma.
Okay.
Number one, because a glaucoma is a very complex disease.
Mhm.
And it's almost like you asking me, can homeopathy cure aging?
No, I understand. I have, like, they said I had 40% injury of my optical nerve, and that happened in a year. I mean, that was what was so shocking. And I have all the things you recommend. I do, including meditation, everything. So it was a shock to me. It's the only health problem I have.
Yeah,
So
well, then I would definitely look at homeopathy.
So there is a chance. There is, because some people say you can reverse glaucoma, and others say you can't. So I'm choosing your opinion about that.
Well, my opinion is it can benefit the glaucoma.
And what does that mean?
It can help slow the damage to your nerve, and in many cases, it can reverse the damage.
Oh,
But I
wow.
don't like to use the word cure or completely reverse it, because that gives you a false impression.
Okay.
And the analogy I use is like, well, can homeopathy stop aging? You know, as we, every year we get older.
Right.
Some people look great at 70, other people look like they're 90 at 70.
Right.
So I think a lot depends on your body's energy, what we call the vital force.
Yes.
And unfortunately, all of us have lived in a world where our vital force has been beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Antibiotics, vaccinations, immunizations, toxins in the environment. It's killing our vital force.
Mm-hmm.
And homeopathy is one way of revitalizing the body, giving the body more energy. And it worked a miracle for me.
Yes.
And I love it when my patients tell me, I don't know what you gave me, Dr. Kondrot, but I've never felt so good about myself.
That's great.
So remember, the enemy is inside of us. It's not outside of us. The enemy's inside. If we take care of the enemy inside, the outside will change.
I understand. What about the ozone drops? Is that good for glaucoma too?
The ozone drops has very little effect for glaucoma, but it can reduce some of the side effects of the glaucoma medications. The glaucoma medications are very toxic. They cause redness and irritation, and the ozone eye drops can benefit. But
Okay.
I don't want you to take the ozone eye drops thinking it's a replacement for the glaucoma drops. It's not.
Right. I only have to take one drop of the latanoprost at night, but it's the only pharma I take. So I looked it up, and it didn't seem to have very many side effects, but you still consider it pretty toxic, huh?
Well, all the eye drops are toxic. But see,
Okay.
glaucoma is a serious disease, and people that I work with glaucoma, I never tell them to stop their eye drops.
Okay.
Let's first work on helping to improve the health of your body, the health of the optic nerve, and then many patients are able to discontinue their eye drops.
I see. And other than the list that you've said about healthy diet, exercise, meditation, I do all of that. I'm a vegan. So I'm wondering if there's any other things you could suggest for improve the health of the optic nerve.
Well, I hear people say they're doing all these things, but are you doing them properly? I tell people that I do yoga, but my daughter-in-law is a yoga instructor, and when she watches me do it, she tells me, you're doing it all wrong. You're not going to have any benefit. So
Right. I do yoga, and I have been watched, and I do it properly. But I was just wondering if there's any, I think that's what's so odd about this. I do all of those things. I really do. And every day. So
How about laughing?
What?
Laughing.
That's part of my life too, and being
Okay, and singing.
Yeah.
Laughing will lower your intraocular pressure. And
That's
singing.
great. Thank you for sharing that.
So laugh every day.
No, that's excellent. That definitely suggested something to me. And
Okay.
what about those microwave machines and all that? Is that something I should be doing?
Well, they're not microwave.
Or whatever they are. I'm sorry.
Microcurrent. I
Yes.
love the microcurrent because it's a very low current.
Mhm.
There's been hundreds, if not thousands of studies to show that the low level current can help rejuvenate the eye, help detoxify the eye, and can help with glaucoma.
Right. And which one would you recommend of those machines?
Well, I practice what we call frequency specific. There's specific frequencies for glaucoma.
Okay.
So it's not just one microcurrent machine. You have to be careful. You can buy a microcurrent machine on eBay for $80, and it all depends on the current.
Sure.
A study was done. If the current is above 500 microamps, and a microamp is a millionth of an amp, it actually will decrease cellular activity. You want a really low current.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the machines have a high current, which I think can be detrimental to the eye.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to talk to the office. I have a couple of YouTube videos on microcurrent, so you can become educated on that. But I think that that's very, very exciting microcurrent, and it can help a lot of people.
And I do use red light therapy. We have a huge red light machine that we live in. So that helps too, you said, I think. Red light.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Somebody disagreed about me with mold, and that's good. Disagreement is always good. And I think that the question about the mold, yeah, if you're subject to a lot of mold and if your home is moldy, it can be overwhelming for your vital force. But, most people, their bodies are strong enough that they can fight it. Okay, I'm looking here for other questions. All right. We have the old timers, repeaters, Janice.
Oh, but I think Ellen's ahead of me. Well, anyhow, people are talking about ozone drops, but I thought you said you have to ozonate the drops. I'm confused.
Yeah, you do. You can't buy ozone eye drops.
So
You buy a little aquarium bubbler.
Yeah.
$100, and you bubble the ozone into saline. You make your own ozone eye drops. I have a YouTube video on that.
Oh, you just do into saline. I thought there was some kind of eye drops you have to.
No.
Okay, so you have a video. I have to look for, what's the name of the video?
Well, go to YouTube and type my name, Kondrot ozone eye drops, and you'll come up with it.
Okay, sorry. Thanks very much.
That sounds good.
I understand. I was very confused.
Okay, Ellen. And this has to be the last question because we're coming to the close of the hour. Ellen?
Yeah. My question is, how do we find out what homeopathy would work for us? Is that a service you provide, or do you have people you recommend?
I have a group. I'm actually teaching a group of eye doctors to learn more about homeopathy. Homeopathy is an art. So the first thing we do is we find out more about you. So when I take a homeopathic case, we want to find out what are your symptoms? How are your symptoms affecting you? Who are you? Are you retired? Do you work? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? Are you warm? Are you cold? We're treating you. And once we find out more about you, then we look at the correlation to your eye problem. And that's called the homeopathic interview or homeopathic case taking. Now, there are many good qualified homeopaths across the country who can help you. And my specialty is homeopathic ophthalmology. So where do you live?
I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I do have a wonderful homeopath for has been a constitutional, but he
Yeah.
isn't sure what to do with eyes. He doesn't have
Well, I'd
anything
be
that,
happy to consult with him or her.
oh, okay,
I'm always happy to
wonderful.
talk to other homeopathic doctors and just have them contact the office and we can set up a time.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, thank you. That'd be great.
Okay, well, we're coming to a close, and I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank all of you for participating in Substack. It's a big help for me, helping me with my mission work. And any of you who did not get your question answered or you're not happy with the answer, send me an email. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll devote a whole Substack to that particular question. All right. Blessings to everybody. Take care. Bye.